we are about ready to go. I got my lifters in the bowls. We're going to drown them in oil and let them sit for a little while. I went and got some Lucas assembly lube from the Sun down at O'Reilly's, and we're going to use this for the bottom of those and to do a little bit extra stuff. I got my lithium. I got my black sealant, push rods, rocker arm studs, and nuts all right here, ready to go, all checked, everything checked for cracks, cleaned, ready to go. All right, now I normally don't do this because I have a priming tool that I use in the distributor, but these, as soon as I pour the oil on them, see, air bubble, they are actually filling, bubbling up. And don't worry about leaving them out like this, because once we put them in, we're going to take the oil and put them in the valley. But it's always never a bad idea to soak your lifters in your oil and just let them sit for a while, and just let all the little air bubbles and all the little crevices inside those lifters get soaked. Okay, now comes the fun part, or the funner parts. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we have to get the heads torqued. We are going to install the lifters, and they've been soaking in oil for a couple of hours, which means all the air bubbles is gone. And this is the leftover cam lube, break-in lube that was left over. So we're just going to take them already dripped in oil, and we're just to make sure, we're going to put a little extra cam lube, let everything cut in real good, because you know how everybody has been talking about how lifters have been dying. Well, I'm going to try to stop that. The reason I bought the Summit kit, because Summits are still made in USA. Comp cams, and unfortunately, from what I understand from the online, now I don't know for sure, but from what I understand, most of the manufacturers are getting their stuff produced in China, and I'm just not trusting the productability of it. So I think that's where we're getting our hits. And then once it's been soaking, you can that'll get an inch case. I got the crank and everything covered already in, but then once you get that done, you just can throw it away, because we'll just take the next batch. I'm going to run them in the lube, put them in the holes, just a little extra protection, just because. But that's why I chose Summit brand, because Summit is still made in the USA, and that I trust. I don't buy a lot of parts. Now, if I buy parts on Amazon, I buy AC Delcos. I buy brands that I know. I don't buy Chinese knockoffs. I don't buy that kind of stuff. All right. So while our hands are nice and oily, let's push some push rods in. Since we got some oil, we can just get on our fingers since our hands are clean. And I have a tendency, see how that's got that wear spot on it from being in the head before? I'll just flip them. I just have just my little thing. Yep, we're just going to flip them. Put that down and let that start a new wear spot on a used push rod, which I don't know if you've seen, but I checked all of these for straightness on a piece of glass. So they're all straight. There's no bent push rods. I actually found, out of all the ones that I found 3 bent ones, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's the way the world is. But it's just very simple. You just take a pane of glass and you roll them on the pane of glass, and if you see them go bonk, 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 you have a bent one, and we don't want to use the bent one. But so what's next? Rocker arms to studs and balls. All right, and I'm going to do something a little different with these. Is that these are all just out of the pile. I've checked them all, make sure there's no bad breaks or anything wrong with any of them. Since these are all mixed up, hodgepodge together, and all the nuts and bolts are changed up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another bowl, then I'll show you. All right, since these are all brand new for those cups, there's not even a chance. I'm not even taking a chance on any of them being, well, what you would call, yep, okay. I'm just going to use some of this Lucas assembly lube, all right? And we're going to put this on there. We're going to let it help. Once we start moving things around, start setting things so that it helps these balls cut in and learn its new place. Does that make sense? Because you know the old days, we take them apart, we take an old coat hanger, and we make sure that these and the nuts would all stay together, the rocker arms and it would just all stay together, right? Well, I didn't do that. I just threw them all in a bucket, and I picked the best ones I could find out of the bucket. And so we're going to let this, with a little assembly lube, cut itself into its new rocker arm. I don't know any other way to say it. So, yeah, because we're doing things like we're doing, we are kind of breaking some rules from way back in the day. We are and we aren't. That makes sense? We are and we aren't. Okay, so, yep. What we got going on here? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Another bowl throwaway. Actually, I kind of like that. I kind of like that, Lucas. I mean, I haven't got a hold of a Lucas product yet that wasn't really good. So you guys tell me, you guys ever had some bad luck with Lucas? Because I haven't. But this is what it's called. High Performance Assembly Lube, semi-synthetic, eliminates dry starch. And it does. It's sticky. Like syrup. Which, what Lucas product isn't sticky like syrup, but man, I tell you what, I've never had a bad product from these guys. And the last thing to do is put these in. Now remember that that's up. The flat side goes against the flat side of the rocker ball. Okay? Flat side goes against the flat side of the rocker ball. The rocker ball, the round side, goes down. Flat side goes up. So this is your adjustment for your rocker arms. Oh, I don't like it. And I don't know if you just saw that. That one didn't want to thread on that one, but that one threaded in just fine. Then it threaded just on fine on this one. So their rocker arm nuts are they're cattywampus. They kind of have a mind of their own. They do whatever. But normally, if you got one that doesn't want to go on, you just switch to the next stud. It'll fit, just like you just saw. And these are actually, they aren't perfectly round. They are kind of a press fit. Okay, so they, from the factory, and if you get one that's really loose, or you get one that gets where it doesn't want to stay locked in, just whack it with a hammer. And it'll oblong it just enough. And I don't mean a big whack. I mean just give it a hit with a hammer, and it'll be just enough to get it where it'll bite again on the stud. But we can get kind of close. We just want to I just want to run them down till they got full thread hit. Hey, while you're here and you're watching, like, share, subscribe, smash that button, hit that bell, tell your friends about me. I appreciate every one of you guys that are out there watching my videos. But this one is just to get Grandma used to drag racing. That's what this is for. And this is just, like I said, I've got under $500 in on this deal. I've used a bunch of old parts, culled out a bunch of bad parts, and we're going to see if we can have a little fun with this. And if I blow this thing up, or if it starts up and it goes ka-chunk, I ain't really out nothing, because everything on this thing, everything that I put into this thing, the heads, the camshaft. If that crank in there doesn't want to go, if it doesn't hold oil pressure or whatever, I can just move all this stuff over to the new engine, the good engine. So, but this ought to be a lot of fun. I'm really curious to see what this thing does once I fire it off. Okay, so I'm just going to get you in here. And this is number one right here, right? And we're going to turn this thing. So right now it says it's either top dead center intake or top dead center exhaust. I don't know which. So let's do a little spinach. And we'll see how she hits. Okay. There is exhaust opening. All right. And there is exhaust closing, intake about to open. All right. So, see how much we got here? All right. So, how do you set these? The easiest way to do it right now is just by hand while you're here. Since we know they're both on the bottom stroke and we know those lifters are full of oil. So, we're just going to tighten this down. All right. See how she's moving a little bit? All right. And it's good enough to start. That's good enough to start it. All right. And see, we got a lot of movement here. So we can tighten it down quite a bit. All right. All right. There we go. Now we ain't got no movement left. We got a little bit. See? And as a matter of fact, I could get this off just a little bit. See, just like that. That's what I like to do to start up. Okay, so now if I did my job right, because those lifters are kind of pumped up. There's an exhaust intake valve opening. There's intake valve closing. There's an exhaust valve opening and exhaust valve closing. All right. And I'm sure somebody has some other better thing of doing this, but this is what I do. All right, so now as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for starting. Okay. So then we'll go to this one and we'll do the same thing. We'll do it all the way around. Okay. And when you think you have them all about right, bring it up to whether that's intake or exhaust, which that's probably going to be exhaust. So bring it up to the mark. And you remember, it's 2 turns for a full rim, and you think you got them all pretty much set where you want them. Bring it around 1 turn, which will be half of the rotation of the cam. Okay. Then you just go through and you double check, see if you got any loose ones. Okay. Then once you do that, then you come back down here and you give it another 1 turn. All right. And this is your double check after you think you have everything right. Never hurts to double check. It'll come back to the mark, to 0. All right. And then we'll do it again. We'll double check. Yep. Got a couple loose ones. And all I'm doing, this is just for startup. This is just for startup. Because we're going to reset these when the engine is running. Now you have set your valve lash for initial startup. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to get this in here real close. And this is the rocker arm geometry that I have on this head with those rocker arms. And they're all basically the same. So we're going to spin this. So right now it's on 0 lobe, which means there's no lift on either one. So this is going to be the exhaust coming up here once I get this moving. And we'll go real slow and we'll see what she do. All right. Looks dead center to me. Looks like we're pretty good. It just doesn't seem like that's a lot of lift, does it? But it's Not a lot of lift, but it's the duration that it's open. All right. And then it opens back up and it's on the edge. So I think we're good. I think we're not going to have any interference problems. I don't have anything getting close to the lifter or to the spring, to the rocker arms. I think we're good to go. So if you're still here, smash that like button. If you've liked all of this and you want to know more, comment down below, because if you got any questions about anything I've done, see, this is just all just for fun. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed putting this engine or this long block together. The short block, I didn't do much except put a oil pump on it, but it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have too. Check out unclebuckstuff.com if you'd like to help the channel out, buy a t-shirt or a hat, something like that. Y'all have a great day, because a great day today is going to be a fresh built motor in the morning. Y'all be good.